Welcome to the Silenced History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos. A figure in a white nightgown and grotesque mask stands alone in a bedroom corner, 1970s. The photo was taken by a child who woke up in the night. The figure remained motionless for hours. 5 boys in rubber monster masks sit on brick steps, 1950s. Their expressions are identical, wide eyes, gaping mouths. When the photo was developed, there were 6 shadows. Only 5 boys in the frame. 6 children wear wooden frame masks with painted faces, 1970s rural America. Part of a box head parade tradition. One frame has no child inside. It stands upright on its own. Parents burn the masks the next morning. Outside a men's restroom, this pig-masked figure waits at a county fair, mid-century America. No one saw it enter or leave. The mask was found in a nearby forest, still warm. 5 figures in elaborate masks pose in a studio, early 1900s. Their costumes are ornate, elegant, but their masks, handmade, distorted, don't match the formality. One figure holds a knife. It's not part of the costume. 6 children leave a storefront under a magic treat sign, 1960s. One wears a bear mask with a frozen grin. The store closed that same night. The owner was never seen again. The masks were found piled inside. This figure wears a child's skull, dressed in white lace, 1890s. A memento mori, Halloween tradition to honor the dead. But the horns and talons suggest something darker than remembrance. 8 figures stand frozen in crude homemade masks, early 1900s. One child wears a ghost white sheet, while another hides behind a horrifying animal mask. No candy, no safety, just raw backyard terror before Halloween became commercialized. A witch crouches beside a wooden cage holding terrified children, early 1900s. The elaborate costume, horns, feathers, flowing robes, wasn't random. European folklore demanded these exact details. What ritual required caged innocence? 3 figures descend stone steps in grotesque masks, one hunched, one draped in white, mid-century. Behind them, a 4th figure in the shadows, unmasked. The photo was taken outside an abandoned asylum during a ghost tour. 4 blank-faced masks stare back, early 1900s. Handmade, deliberately unsettling. Before mass production, Halloween costumes were meant to frighten away spirits or become them. Which were these children summoning in that empty field? On a trash-strewn street, 2 children wave, 1970s. One wears a porcelain mask, the other a grinning skull. The photo was taken moments before a blackout. They were never found. 2 towering figures with painted cardboard headpieces loom in a backyard, circa 1910s. Their costumes echo ancient rituals when October meant honoring the dead. What ceremony were they performing that required such elaborate disguises? 2 children in oversized masks stand in a desolate field, mid-century. Storm clouds gather overhead. The masks, primitive, handmade, have no origin. The children were found wandering 3 miles from home, unable to speak for days. A circle of white robes and skull grins surrounds one full skeleton suit, 1920s. Perfectly synchronized, eerily organized. This wasn't random Halloween fun. What ceremony required such precise formation and witness? A lineup of masked figures at a costume parade, 1920s. The polka dot clown towers over the rest. Behind them, shadows on the wall don't match the bodies. The photo was taken at noon. A skeleton embraces a polka dot clown in an open field, 1920s. This wasn't children's play. Early costume parties were adult gatherings where celebration and ritual blurred dangerously. Death danced with comedy, but which was real? Close up. Weathered devil mask with real horns, 1940s. The paint cracks and peels like diseased skin. Someone wore this repeatedly, year after year. What transformation occurred each time they put it on? 2 children in featureless white masks stand in bright daylight, mid-century. Their clothes are neat, their posture perfect, but their shadows fall in opposite directions. The photo was found tucked inside a stranger's Bible decades later. Deep in the woods, 4 veiled figures pose in layered theatrical costumes, early 1900s. Their elaborate attire suggests organized performance, but no stage exists here. What ritual required witness in nature far from civilization? A skull-masked child walks alone across empty schoolyard, 1950s. No companions, just mask and concrete. Vintage Halloween blurred play and isolation. Was this celebration or something else? Children pose in donkey masks and horned capes, early 1900s. Their costumes seem wrong, too bizarre, too specific. What folklore demanded these exact animal disguises? Why did they need witnesses and a camera to document it? 11 people wear paper bag masks with cutout faces, early 1900s group photo. This was a mystery party where guests never revealed their names. Decades later, researchers confirmed none of them lived in that town. Against rustic buildings, 3 figures pose in heavy theatrical makeup, 1920s. Their presence suggests traveling performers, or something darker moving through small towns. Rural Halloween had secrets cities never knew about. 3 children stand in foggy woods wearing nightmare masks. Fur-covered beast, spike-crowned humanoid, bag-headed creature, sepia tone. The forest setting suggests ritual, not play. Who photographed them alone in those trees? 3 masked children stand before a wooden fence wearing full-body disguises, circa 1910. Their costumes hide everything human. Early Halloween erased identity completely. Were they celebrating or hiding from something worse approaching? A towering skeleton figure from a 1920s English scarecrow contest. Farmers competed to create the most unsettling guardian. This one, with its polka-dotted skull, reportedly moved at night. White cloth wraps one figure completely in a narrow hallway, early 1900s. Their skull mask peers down the corridor. Complete anonymity, total erasure. What freedom or danger did that provide? One figure cradles a doll, another wears medical garb with cryptic slogans reading "Genius at Work" and "Should barbecue?" 1930s. The bizarre pairing creates genuine discomfort. Vintage Halloween mixed nursery imagery with adult themes, purposefully disturbing. Buried in pumpkins, a witch-masked figure holds a carved jack-o'-lantern, 1930s. The photo was taken at a harvest festival where participants competed for most unsettling display. This entry won, but the person beneath was never identified. Near concrete steps, masked children hold pitchfork props surrounded by gas cylinders, 1940s. This wasn't suburban safety. This was industrial-age Halloween, gritty, unfiltered, real. What were they guarding? 2 children in sailor suits wear grotesque masks in backyard, early 1900s. The formal clothing contrasts with monstrous faces. Victorian childhood mixed rigid propriety with sanctioned moments of complete transformation. Inside a parlor, feathered masks and theatrical hats fill the room. 1920s. These weren't party guests. They were performers in a tradition older than America itself. What ritual demanded such elaborate theatrical preparation indoors? 5 strangers in a 1910 carnival studio wearing untraceable costumes. The child below clutches a puppet with an expression too knowing for its size. None of them were related. Dozens of children crowd together in elaborate homemade costumes, 1940s. Their masks range from simple to grotesque. The sheer number creates overwhelming visual chaos. What event demanded such mass participation? Three masked faces press close together, creating one unsettling portrait. 1910s. Their exaggerated smiles twist into something almost painful. Early group photos weren't casual snapshots, they were statements. What were they declaring? 14 children in identical grinning masks pose for a school photo, 1920s. The masks were distributed by a traveling salesman who never returned. Teachers reported the children refused to remove them for 3 days straight. Circus tent backdrop, early 1900s. 20 performers crowd together. Clowns, children, grotesque masks, formal dress. The density overwhelms. Traveling circuses brought Halloween aesthetics to towns year-round. 4 theatrical faces twist in exaggerated expressions in a studio portrait. 1920s. The formal presentation suggests performance art, but for what audience? Early photography reveals Halloween's connection to occult theater traditions nobody discusses. 7 adult women in matching witch costumes line up formally, early 1900s. The uniformity suggests organized group, coven performance. Early feminist gatherings sometimes used witch identity as empowerment. 6 distinct characters line up before a house. Clowns, witches, performers, a policeman, 1920s. Each costume tells a different story of transformation and erasure. Why did they need witnesses? Why document this specific moment? Indoors, masked figures gather beneath framed portraits, 1950s. Uncle Sam, jesters, vampires, witches. Their gathering wasn't random. The staged composition suggests secret Halloween societies that once existed. In a basement shelter, children gather wearing mismatched masks, 1940s. The brick fireplace, fabric canopy, jack-o'-lanterns create theatrical atmosphere. What ritual was this group performing beneath the house? 6 costumed figures line up with policeman, clown, Native American, princess, witch, officer, 2 caricature masks, 1910s. Law enforcement monitoring Halloween reveals social control. When did authority start regulating transformation? A crowded street fills with masked children and adults, early 1900s. Their raised hands and chaotic energy suggest celebration or protest. Early Halloween was public spectacle, not private trick-or-treating. Shot from below, masked figures lean over cauldron in dramatic theatrical lighting, 1940s. The low angle creates menace. Professional staging brought cinematic horror aesthetics to live performance. 3 women pose with oversized masks, witch, demon, rat skull, 1930s. The scale makes them grotesque puppets. Theater groups normalized Halloween horror through public performance. Audiences paid to be frightened. Wrapped entirely in striped cloth, one figure poses in an elaborate mummy costume before a weathered barn, early 1900s. The wrapping technique suggests ritual preparation. What was being summoned in this rural gathering? Salem, 1974. Laurie Cabot, the White Witch, stirs her cauldron surrounded by costumed figures. Real witch, real tradition. Salem never forgot what happened in 1692. Halloween there means something deeper. 3 figures on stage wrapped entirely in textured fabric, feathers, fur, leaves, with animal heads, 1920s. Theater production or something older? Their complete body coverage suggests ritual transformation, not performance. 5 children display oversized skull puppets and exaggerated masks indoors, 1920s. Their props weren't toys, they were tools. Early Halloween taught children to confront death directly, without modern cushioning or commercial safety. Victorian ventriloquist dummy with grotesque grin sits formally with mustached handler, 1800s. Before Halloween, dummies and puppets already embodied uncanny valley terror. Entertainment and nightmare shared thin boundaries. Victorian studio portrait, Woman in elaborate dark costume wears expressionless white mask, standing on roller skates. 1890s. The bizarre combination, formal dress, blank face, wheeled feet, creates pure surrealism. A professional researcher examines human skulls at his workbench. Washington, D.C., 1926. This wasn't medical study. This was private collection. Early Halloween merged celebration with macabre obsession uncomfortably. Fur-covered costume with whiskered mask and haunting eyes. 1920s France. This cat costume feels more predator than playful. Was this theater disguise, or something ritualistic prowling in plain sight? Theatrical tableau. Woman in white dress lies on table surrounded by mummies, skeleton, skulls, early 1900s. Professional staging brought Halloween aesthetics to high art. Death became entertainment. Skeleton figure embraces Victorian woman in elaborate dress, 1890s. The romantic pose, death courting beauty, reflects 19th century memento mori obsession. Halloween crystallized centuries of Western death fascination into one night. Holding two dolls, one soft, one disturbingly lifelike. A masked woman stands between old houses, 1920s. The dolls weren't props. They were participants. Vintage Halloween blurred all boundaries between living performer and inanimate object. Woman holds child-sized doll with horrifying painted face, early 1900s. Both figures wear similar expressions, blank, unsettling. When did dolls become vessels for projected fear rather than comfort? Propped against brick wall, laughing devil figure clutches white puppet, 1940s. The manic grin and theatrical pose feel rehearsed. Street performers brought Halloween aesthetics to everyday life. But why? Masked figure in plaid shirt holds small child against weathered barn, 1950s. The child seems calm. Oversized mask, rural isolation, strange intimacy. What relationship required this photographic documentation? Four figures pose in elaborate, Eastern-inspired costumes with ornate masks. Early 1900s studio. Cultural appropriation merged with Halloween's global absorption. The holiday consumed everything: folklore, colonialism, spectacle, fear. Two girls stand beside a costumed figure wearing a Santa beard and cowboy hat, 1950s. The white-bearded stranger seems misplaced. Halloween and Christmas merged into something unsettling. Who invited him? Two children in patchwork Western costumes wear distorted masks, mid-century. Their trick-or-treat bags are empty. The photo was taken at noon, long before Halloween night began. No one remembers seeing them knock on doors. Three children in ghost sheets hold cat-shaped containers, 1950s. Their blank expressions and crude masks evoke something older than candy collection. Were they trick-or-treaters or participants in forgotten ritual? Two children in animal masks hold bottles in a park, 1920s. The masks, wolf and bird, were part of a fabled costume contest. One child's mask has no eye holes, the other's has eyes painted on the outside. Four children in bandaged mummy costumes hold trick-or-treat bags, 1950s. Their faces are completely covered. When neighbors opened the door that night, the bags were full of dirt, not candy. No one remembers giving them anything. Three masked children peer into glowing jack-o'-lantern, faces illuminated from below, 1950s. Their focus is intense, almost trance-like. What did they see in that flickering light? Shadows swallow a child surrounded by glowing masks, cats, skulls, grinning faces, 1950s. The darkness feels intentional. Halloween taught children to sit with death and darkness. What lesson was transmitted? A child in a grotesque mask crawls on all fours across pavement, 1920s. Part of a beast parade where children imitated animals. This one moved too realistically. Teachers reported it didn't stop crawling for hours. A clown with striped collar and wild hair tufts grins wide for camera. 1940s. The exaggerated smile stretches unnaturally. Mid-century clowns embraced discomfort. What were they performing beyond entertainment? Towering on stilts, a clown looms in fur-trimmed vest and painted menace. 1920s. This isn't joy, it's discomfort wrapped in circus tradition. What fear did audiences secretly crave beneath the laughter? Color photo. Towering clown on suburban street holds two children's hands. 1960s. The exaggerated proportions and grotesque mask transform family photo into nightmare. Parents paid for this. Elaborate parade costumes fill a street. Princesses, clowns, Uncle Sam. 1950s. The theatrical presentation suggests organized spectacle. But look closer. Several masks have no eye holes. How did they see? A grotesque figure looms in a doorway. Oversized head, bulging eyes, skeletal hands, 1950s. Behind, silhouettes watch. Mid-century Halloween embraced genuine darkness. What happened inside these haunted houses? 4 ghost costumes gather before a porch. Above them towers a pumpkin-headed figure. Too tall, too still, 1950s. Who wore that costume? Or was it something else watching over them? 2 faceless beings in oversized eyes, 1960s France. Their theater performance was shut down after one night. Audience members reported feeling watched long after leaving. The actors were never identified. 2 clowns embrace under circus lights, 1950s. The skeleton-faced performer grips with unsettling tenderness. The photo was found years later in an abandoned carnival trailer. Behind them, blurred shadows. A 1930s Halloween party where faceless revelers gathered. The alien figure and hooded reaper loom overhead. Who were they beneath those masks? And why did no one speak of this night again? 3 children in painted masks stand in bright daylight, 1950s. The witch, the jester, the skeleton devil. Their trick-or-treat bags are pristine white. No candy, no names. Neighbors reported knocking but finding no one there. 2 girls in white gowns and crude masks hold sticks like weapons. Early 1900s. Part of a rural witch trial reenactment tradition meant to teach children about history. The masks were made from flour sacks and animal bones. 5 figures in grotesque masks gather on a hillside, early 1900s. Part of a rural mummers parade to scare away bad harvests. One sits perfectly still. The others didn't know who it was. Covered head to toe in dead leaves, this figure stands motionless outside a rural home. Early 1900s England. A green man costume for harvest festivals. Neighbors reported hearing rustling from inside the suit hours after it was removed. 1964. Glenn Sherrard poses with his towering handmade Frankenstein. Wood, cardboard, wire, paper, all built by hand. Why? What compelled this elaborate creation? Who was meant to see it? 3 young women in pointed hats and theatrical makeup gather outdoors, 1950s. Their casual stance contrasts with intense costuming. Halloween was becoming social performance, peer bonding through shared transformation. In domestic doorway, elderly figure in theatrical makeup clutches carved pumpkin, 1950s. The home invasion of Halloween, transforming familiar spaces into stages for performance. Neighbors became strangers one night yearly. Every image you've seen today carries secrets that textbooks overlooked and history forgot to mention. If you're fascinated by the untold stories behind familiar faces and forgotten moments, hit subscribe and join us every week as we reveal the hidden narratives captured in history's most powerful photographs. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video.